Hey, what is up, guys? So it is another day and another day in the week where I get to come back at you guys with another top 5. And this time, of course, it's again brought to you by Comics Amino. Now, last time, I rendered the wrong episode. Typical me. Anyway, if you guys haven't checked it out, it's a great community filled with a bunch of fans that love comic books. You get to, post your own blogs, collections, things like that. It's, pretty nice, awesome community. I've been posting on there for a while now, almost a year now, talking with a lot of fans, obviously, just interacting, talking about some of the hottest topics. And since this week we actually had a big topic regarding some of the news regarding Spider-Man, I figure let's do my top 5 Spider-Man characters that aren't Spider-Man. So, let's get into that. So, number 5 is going to be Carnage, Cletus Cassidy. Yes, Carnage. This one comes from not so much of my love of the character or anything like that. It's mainly the nostalgia I have with this character. Obviously, I didn't discover this character in the comics or anything. The way I found him was on the back of a Games Pro magazine. I think it was Game Pro. It might have been Electronic Gaming Monthly. They had the advert for Spider-Man Maximum Carnage, the video game. I was sleeping over at my friend's house one weekend, and we saw it at the local rental store, and we had to pick it up. One of the hardest games I ever played. We never got past the doppelganger level, but that was my first exposure to Carnage. So, going forward with that, obviously I caught the Saturday morning cartoon, which was Spider-Man the Animated Series, which then introduced me to the character fully on. I still didn't know the extent of the violence of the character, but I really liked what they were showing. Of course, I was, younger and all of that, so I thought it was the coolest thing. He was all about blood and hurting people, and I just enjoyed it. Subsequently, after that, a couple years after, when I really got more into comics, I didn't really appreciate the character and like him for what he stood for, but all my love for that character kind of came back, and I really thought he was done amazingly well in Carnage USA, which was a comic series my friend Sean and I reviewed here on the channel. It was an awesome 5-part miniseries where Carnage actually takes over a small, redneck settlement, and everybody's infected with symbiotes. And subsequently, since then, they've been doing a bunch of Carnage miniseries, and I thought all those were pretty decent too. So they've definitely, carved out a different voice for the character, which I really enjoy. Number 4 is going to be tailing right off of Carnage straight into Venom. Now, Venom, obviously, what's there not to like about him? Every incarnation of him. Obviously, there's the first one, which is, of course, Eddie Brock. Pretty awesome story right there. I really enjoyed Eddie Brock for what he was at the time. I will say my personal favorite version of Venom is going to be Agent Venom, who's, of course, Flash Thompson. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, Flash Thompson, of course, was Peter Parker's, bully in school, and eventually he ends up losing his legs during the war. Now, the way he's granted freedom and the ability to walk again is by using this symbiote, which is, of course, the Venom symbiote. It gets on him, he gets it back, but he can't keep it on too long because, well, the symbiote drives you crazy. Ever since then, though, we've had other developments with Venom, mainly that the symbiote wasn't actually crazy. Instead, it kind of works as a hive mind, and it was separated away from its species, so it started going crazy because it couldn't connect and communicate with it. Great development. Some of the best, I think, Venom development has actually been in the last 5 years. And originally, what got me back into this character was following the Venom Dark Origin story that I think came out in the mid-2000s. I don't specifically remember the date, but I thought that was great to retold you the story of Venom, Eddie Brock, and showed it all from his point of view. And I thought that was very well handled. So for that reason, he's my number 4. Number 3 is going to be the newest addition to this list, and that's going to be Cindy Moon Silk. Now, if you guys follow me, you know I absolutely love this character. I love the comics. I wasn't so hot on her when she first got announced. I was like, they're just going to retcon a stupid character in there. She's going to be around for 3 issues, cause controversy, leave, and never show up anywhere. And subsequently, they did the exact opposite. They introduced her, made her very likable, made her relatable to Peter Parker. Her story was awesome. Her costume is absolutely spectacular. Play on words. You can even say it's the ultimate. Never mind. Anyway, so she gets introduced. I really liked how they played with the whole hormone aspect and everything. She has her own story, how she's entwined with Black Cat. And I really like that her and Peter are actually having a team-up series that's happening currently in the Marvel Infinite comics. There's just a lot going on with this character now. She has only been in the comics for maybe a year and a half, so it's not that much time to actually develop a character. But from how much they've had, you definitely get a grasp on that they have something more planned with this character and that she's not going away anytime soon. And honestly, I'm okay with that because I think she's written very well. Number 2 would be Black Cat Felicia Hardy. Now, my first exposure to this character was, of course, in Spider-Man the Animated Series again. First time I ever saw her. I really liked the costume. I liked what I was saying. I liked the story they told in there. And for a while, I went on thinking that was the story. I thought that was it. Obviously, when I got older, I started to read the comics, and I found out there was very few liberties they took with the character, right? Because they had to change it, obviously, for cartoons and purposes and things like that. But what I really enjoyed was some of the one-offs they did with Black Cat. I think those actually further the character a lot more and go a lot more in-depth with her. There was quite a few arcs that actually kind of make you sympathize with the character in such a way that you see where she's coming from, why she does the crimes, and why she does all the things that she does, and just her interplay and how she actually kind of is entwined with Peter Parker as a character himself, right? How she ties into his story and how, she's really there always, not when he necessarily needs her. She always shows up at like the worst time, but it turns out that he does need her. He just doesn't understand it. And I really like the way she's kind of, she's not exactly bad if you look at her character. She's just doing what she needs to get by. And you could classify her as a villain, technically, or as a vigilante, but she comes out more of a hero most of the time. In the current run, she's running her own crime organization, which, we'll see how that plays out in the end, if that was some sort of, twist or anything coming in it, but I do really enjoy it. And then, of course, the costume. Black leather. Blonde. Writes itself. Platinum hair. What more can I say? And now, number 1. And that is Spider-Man. See, but I said not Spider-Man. You don't know what's Spider-Man. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. Miles Morales. Obviously, this is a list of characters that are Spider-Man, but not Spider-Man Peter Parker himself. So naturally, number 1 has to be Miles Morales. A character that was met with so much hatred when announced. It was awful. Awful. I remember us on the podcast just reading through some of the comments and how racist and hateful they were, and so much just disgusting attitude from the internet on this happening. And we just sat back and said, hey guys, why don't we just wait for the first issue? And then we reviewed it. And then we reviewed the second one, and third one, and fourth one, and fifth one. And by the fifth one, you saw there was something special with this character. There was heart in it. They were trying to tell you something different. They were trying to ground this character at a level that no Spider-Man character has been ground to so far. Yes, Peter Parker has his time and he'll always be my favorite Spider-Man, but Miles Morales really took head-on some of the issues we're facing in the real world. Not only that, this was a tough time. The Ultimates just came off from one of the worst disasters in comic history. Literally, from being the peak pinnacle series of any comic book company or publishing or anything like that, to literally just free fall to the ultimate burn. So no one wanted to give the Ultimates a chance. This comes out, everybody was back on board. They handled the character and the matter so well. Not only that, the twist they put on some of the classic characters that we didn't see at the time, such as Prowler, and actually tie into the story, spectacular. And then, of course, this led to a crossover event, Spider-Man, which we actually got to see Peter Parker and Miles Morales team up, which in itself was also an awesome event. So everything with this character has kind of been pretty important to what's happened in the real world, and I love that they encapsulated that in there with him. If I have to say any more about it, I would say if you guys haven't had a chance, check out the Ultimate Spider-Man comics where Miles Morales starts and how he gets to up until he shifts over into the 616. So far, we still don't really have a big grasp on how that's going to be handled in what way, but give it another couple issues, and we will at the time of this recording. So that is my top 5 Spider-Man characters that are not Spider-Man, with a wink because one of them is. But anyway, as always, you guys can let me know your top 5 in the comments below, or, just Comics Amino. You can let me know on there too. I also did have top 5s. You guys could vote for them and all that stuff, and I don't know how I'm going to handle this one though, since anybody has their own top 5. So maybe this will just be a blog post on there, and you guys can just list your list, and that'd be great too. Yeah, sounds good. I didn't think about this one ahead before I did it. Oh well. Anyway, you guys can let me know your list down in the comments below. I can't wait to read them, and I'll see you guys next time. So thank you for watching the video, and if you guys like what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you haven't already, check out some of these other great videos we have on the channel. Just click the annotation right there, it'll take you to them. Thank you for watching, guys, and have a good one.